What's going on, guys? It's Julian from the Vanilla Gorilla Kitchen, and today we are talking enchiladas. This was Chris's favorite dish. It's his birthday this month. He had a birthday last week, I believe. And like I was telling you guys yesterday, I'm going to start picking 2 people a month, and then I'll get with you guys and figure out what your favorite dish is, and then I will show you how easy it is to mess around with, right? So I did a couple things ahead of time because I didn't want to spend, 2 hours on a live video. So the only thing I really did though was we made tortillas, and I only made a couple corn because my wife is not a big corn tortilla fan. She's a flour tortilla fan. And I wasn't going to show you guys how to do that because I've done like 2 or 3 videos now showing you guys how to make tortillas or how I make tortillas. And as you can tell, nothing I do is authentic. Everything I do is stuff that I've learned throughout my time and I share with you, right? So these are our tortillas. We got roughly, about 10. And I got some flour ones that I'll do for them. And we're just doing chicken. This is going to be a very easy dish. I'm going to show you guys how to make a fresh enchilada sauce. And that was the other thing that I did while you guys, while I didn't go live, right? So I'm going to point it down. I'm going to show you what we're working with, right? So this is our base that I'm going to use for our enchilada sauce. We've got 2 tomatoes, and all of this stuff has been charred with the exception of our guajillo peppers, right? These are dry guajillo peppers. You can get them at almost any Spanish store. Most places like Walmart, especially around me, they sell them here, right? So I'm just going to take all this skin off of these tomatoes. Now you can leave them on, but I don't blend it in a blender. I just use my little immersion blender. I use my little immersion blender, so because I like a enchilada sauce a little, a little chunky, not smooth, right? And then all we've got here is 3 pieces of garlic that we roasted. Now I usually take it a little bit darker than this, but it is what it is. So, and this is, like I said, 2 guajillo peppers, a dried chili you can find in almost any store, 2 Roma tomatoes, and a half of a poblano. I would do more, but I don't want a, green sauce, right? And I also braised this chicken that I got back here, and I saved the braising liquid. I've told you guys before, always, always, always save your braising liquid. You can fold this stuff into, you can fold it into the masa and do it for tortillas. I usually fold it in when I do tamales. I take the braising liquid for whatever meat I use. I usually use pork. And I take that liquid and I fold it into my tamale dough. So it's just flavor on top of flavor. Most people keep their masa for tamales very basic. I'm doing a small batch. I'm not doing a whole bunch. I got 2 guajillos here. But I had, a whole bunch of the guajillos and the chicken stock we're going to use. So that guajillo flavor is in there. Usually I use pasillas and arbels and a couple other dried chilies as well. But like I said, this is just how I do it. And that's how I found I like it the best, right? So we're going to use that chicken stock, that braising liquid, to like fortify our enchilada sauce, and I've got that sitting back there. And like I said, that's what we did our chicken in. So you'll really get that guajillo pepper in here. Like I said, we got our tortillas. We've got our shredded chicken thigh. Now, whenever I do a braised, chicken or anything like that, I try to get stuff that is still skin on, got bone in, because that skin, that fat, that bone is flavor. And then you'll just sear the chicken off with a little salt and pepper, and then you'll add all your vegetables. It was just celery, onion, carrot, a whole bulb of garlic cut in half thrown in there, and then water, and then salt and pepper. Usually I don't season my chicken stock. And then there was also cumin, garlic powder, coriander, chili powder, and smoked paprika, and a little bit of ancho chili powder as well, to give it that real red flavor, or that real red look. I'm sorry, not red flavor. This isn't Kool-Aid. And then we're gonna be stuffing these with Monterey Jack cheese, my personal favorite cheese. What's going on, Sam? Now, there's a couple things that I like doing with tortillas, right? Now, I did these fairly soft, so they're very pliable already, right? So, but what I like doing is I like hitting them in just a little bit of oil. That oil helps soften them up, and it also coats them evenly so they don't dry and split. Now, I'm not going to cover these in a bunch of sauce. Not much, Sam, what's going on? I'm not going to cover these in a bunch of sauce. I'm only going to coat enough. What's going on, Ronald? Or Ron, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to get super proper there. I'm not going to cover these in a bunch of sauce and throw them in the oven because it's just cheese. It's going to take maybe 45 seconds. We're topping this with chicken. What's going on, Dan? Nah, not really. Thanks, buddy. So I'm not going to toss these or anything like that or stuff them with chicken. I like that chicken on top. One of my favorite ways to eat an enchilada is enchiladas or enchiladas, which is just a rancher's style enchiladas of pork, right? And they always top it with that, and then you get like a little avocado salad, and then I'm just going to top it with raw red onion, shaved very thin. Usually it'd be pickled onion. I just didn't feel like doing it today. But yeah, right. So like I said, this is our base. I'm actually going to throw away the comments so I can see what you guys are seeing. It's a little bit easier. So if you guys got any questions, don't hesitate to ask, right? So like I said, this is our base. And let's actually go ahead, let's cut this up just a little bit. Now these are almost fall apart already, but I want to expedite that process of the cooking back here. Now you can throw onion in here if you'd like. I didn't want a whole bunch of, stuff. I didn't want to have to make a, big pot of sauce. I only wanted enough to coat these because I don't like my enchiladas just drowned in sauce, right? So all that's going to go in the pot, right? We're going to take that juice that was left from when we broiled the hell out of it. Now you broil it so you can remove the skin. When you cook tomatoes, you cook peppers. They have the tendency, if you don't have a strong enough blender, if you got a Vitamix, which is my favorite style of blender, it's the best blender on the market. It'll blend everything up, so you don't really have to worry about the skin. But it also adds flavor, right? And that char adds flavor. So let's get you over here. All right, and that's that braising liquid I had for my chicken. And like I said, that is going to be fortifying our stock. So let's go ahead and turn this on. We've got our little strainer here so it catches any particles. Make sure it's not hot. I'm gonna spill just a little bit. That's all right. That's what they made towels for. Get that before it makes a huge mess. Don't feel like doing now. With dried chilies, you can throw them in the oven to add a little bit more depth when you roast them off. That's what I was talking about. You see all those particles? I don't want those in there. Now usually I'll strain to get almost all that out so I get a clear broth, clear stock. But one time will be enough. It caught a lot. You can actually put a coffee filter in there. We're going to let that go for just a little bit, right? So you guys are way too close. Reminds me of that skit from the Chappelle Show with Dylon. The greatest rapper of all time, Dylon. He spits hot fire. Hopefully you guys get that Chappelle Show reference. Greatest sketch comedy show of all time. Right? Actually, we don't need that one. I'm just going to do one. I'm going to go fairly thin. Right? So let me get my steel, because you always want to steel your knife before. And you don't have to go fast. You don't have to sit here and make it more of a bigger show than it really is, because all you're really doing is honing that blade. You're taking out any burrs in there, bringing that blade back to its edge. Right? So when I do onions, right, I like going with the rotation, the grain of it, right? And the goal is to go as thin as possible. And like I said, I usually pickle these. Pickled onions, or pickled red onions especially, are outstanding. I'll take that last piece off because I don't want super thick onions on top, right? Now, I've done, these with corn salsa, an avocado, little salsa on top, which is essentially just guacamole, really. There's a few different ways you can do it, but I like keeping it simple, especially on a Wednesday. If Dan's still, you know, in here, and made sure to call me out because I thought yesterday was Wednesday. It really wasn't. Felt like a Wednesday. This whole damn year's really feeling like we're in 2021 already, right? And this is going to be garnish. Now, I'd put it on there just for presentation. I also like a little bit of lime squeezed over. So what we're going to do, because if we try to get it on there and we try to plate it, it's just going to rock back and forth, right? Pro tip: take just the tip off. Boom, sits flat, and you can actually place it against your tortillas when they're all rolled up. All right. So let's go back to our enchilada sauce. So this is going to be the slower process. I'm actually going to bring the comments back up. So what are you guys eating for dinner tonight? What are you guys doing for dinner? I still need one more person for the month of May to reach out and tell me your birthday. And I will do your favorite dish. I'll also ask you what your favorite dish is. Like I said, this is Chris's favorite dish. He loves enchiladas, which I do too. It's my go-to thing to eat. That and tamales when I go to a Mexican restaurant. I don't think you can beat an enchilada. I don't think you can beat a tamale. It's just hard to beat. You know, that and tacos, they're just really, really hard to beat. All right, so make sure you guys can see it. So this isn't going to cook long. It's essentially just going to come up to a boil so everything starts to kind of marry. I'm going to season it, and we'll actually go over our seasoning blend here. Now, most of this liquid had already gotten a lot of the seasoning, but these tomatoes and the poblanos and the guajillos got it, and the garlic didn't. The other three didn't. So we want to make sure that we season accordingly, right? Now, when I think of Mexican flavors and I think of Mexican food, you know, I think of cumin, garlic powder, onion powder, you know, chili powder. I think of coriander, oregano, right? Cilantro. Right? So that's the flavor. That's the profile we're looking for. So we're gonna do about 1.5 teaspoons of each one, with the exception of onion powder and garlic powder and cumin, because I like those three standing out, right? So I like those three standing out the most, right? And like I said, you can buy the sauce. You know, you don't have to, you know, make it. I just happen to really enjoy. And we got a little cayenne here too, just for a little zip, little heat, right? Not much, probably about 1/4 teaspoon worth of that. If you know, again, spice. Me, I like stuff a little bit spicier than most, but I don't want my palate blown out, right? There's no reason to be extra hot just to be extra hot, you know? So let me clean up my oregano so it doesn't look like I'm in here trying to roll a couple joints, right? So don't need people busting in and asking what's that. So a little bit of chili powder, not much, about 1 teaspoon, like I said. Cumin. I like cumin, right? Whenever I smell this, I think of just somebody not wearing deodorant. It's got a real body odor kind of smell to it, but it does just something to our food, right? Pepper. We'll actually save salt for last. And that's our blend right there. That's about it. What's going on, Sella? What's going on, Chris? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and add this seasoning. And like I said, this was Chris's favorite dish. It was his birthday last week, so that's why we're doing this one, right? So let's go ahead and cut that heat just a little bit. We'll start blending this up. Now you can add flour, and you can add, you know, a little bit of fat and make a roux to thicken this up. Right. Which we might do just a little bit. Sorry, I gotta put that fan on so I can see what I'm doing. All this steam's fogging me up. Right. You can also add cornstarch, make a little slurry, a little cornstarch, a little water. And it'll tighten it up. Or you can reduce it. You know, it's really up to you. I might make a roux just to thicken it up just a little bit, not much, just to thicken it up a little bit. That way it coats really, really nice and really evenly. So like I said, what are you guys making for dinner tonight? Hit it in the comments below. Cella's actually going to be, what's going on, Henry? Cella's going to be the one I do for, one of the ones I do for October. Maui Chow Fun. Had it quite a few times when I was over in Hawaii, when we went to Pearl Harbor when I was still in the Navy. If you guys ever get the chance to go there, go there. It's a beautiful place. I've never felt, you know, more, I want to say unified. Unified's not the right word. Never felt, you know, more belonging, I guess, or a sense of purpose than when we entered the port of Pearl Harbor. You know, they make us render salutes, you know, and it usually goes highest ranking, and then subsequently it follows lower ranking, right? So we go through that. You know, so they make you get out there and pay your respects, which you should be doing already, especially going through that. So we don't need much roux, but I do want a little bit of a roux just so it hugs just a little bit better. So like I said, you can reduce it if you'd like, or you can just make a simple roux because it's probably going to be quicker. So when I went to Pearl Harbor the first time, I think I was 19 years old, and 19 or 20. It was my first deployment, first time I was away from home, you know, as far as when I got married and my wife had a kid. You know, my kid wasn't even, you know, a couple months old at that point, right? So, you know, we went out there on a little tour to go to Diego Garcia. And first port visit was Pearl Harbor. And when you're going through, everybody's in their dress uniform. We were going in the summer, so we were in our dress whites, and everybody lines both sides, port and starboard side, from aft to forward, all the way up and down the ship sides. And you render salutes, which just means you salute. You render honors, which you salute. And you know, all the way through, you can't wait. I think at the time I was going through, I can't really remember how fast you're allowed to go, but I don't think you're allowed to go more than 3 nautical miles, which is just 3 miles per hour in Navy terms. So you don't disturb the dearly departed below. And I've never felt anything like that since or after. You know, it really felt, you know, like you were taken out of time. And you were, just didn't feel like you were present. It felt like, you know, you were supposed to be there. It felt like, you know, like, so hard to explain. It just felt weird, going through there where so many people had died, and, you know, really where we had we finished, really where we got brought into the war. Was a final straw type of thing. I had just a little bit too much of that flour, so let's go ahead and fix this. Now we're not going to use all of this roux. You can actually save this roux for a couple days. If you were using clarified butter, it'll stay good forever, because there's no dairy particles in there to make it go sour, because you separated the fat from the dairy portion. So, but we're not working with clarified butter. This is unsalted butter, right? You don't want to use salt because you're trying to really, you don't want to sit here and try to compensate or overcompensate for the salt that's going to be at the end. Right? So it's just easier to go no salt up front and then season towards the end. Right? Right now we're just going to cook this down. We'll probably still keep it a blonde roux, just means just no color, no caramelization. You know, if I was doing a dark gravy, brown gravy, you know, a chicken gravy, I would take it darker, right? But I don't want to add too much color to it. But I do want to cook all this flour out. Now when you make a roux, unless you're adding, you know, the liquid straight to this, you really want to go a little at a time, right? Because then you'll have to sit here and add water to add this, to add that. And you can always add, you can never take away. And then you're just playing a guessing game and a fixing game at that point, right? So our roux is pretty much done. That's the color we're going to be looking for. All right, so let's go ahead and add this to our roux. I mean, to our enchilada sauce. All right. So go ahead and take our little spoon. That should be good right there. It's about what we're looking for. Go ahead and get our whisk, get out any clumps that might have happened. When I was going through culinary school, they say one cold, one hot. You don't really want to add hot to hot. I've never seen a problem. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Never seen it be a problem. As long as you whisk the shit out of it, should be good. Right? So that's pretty much done. That's where I want it at. So let's go ahead and give it a taste. And we'll see where we're at as far as seasoning goes, right? So you can see how much that coats better. It's almost about a gravy consistency, right? Let's go ahead and taste that. That's good, right? Need salt. That's the only thing we didn't add. Now there is a little bit of a bite to it, but like I said, Mexican food is supposed to have a little bit of a bite. You know, go as hot as you like or as mild as you like. You know, you don't have to be Superman and try to sit here and take, you know, 10, 12 different hot chilies to the dome piece and, you know, flash your palate out. If you don't have to. You know, if you'd like to, that's up to you. You know, me, I personally prefer, you know, to have a well-balanced, well-heated enchilada sauce. Let me go ahead and clear some of this shit off. I should have grabbed all these seasonings at once, but you know, it's Wednesday. It feels like Monday. So that is our stock that we used in our braising liquid. Right? So, like I told you guys, pro tip. So, these are already pretty pliable. I can go ahead and roll these, right? But I don't want to take a chance on them ripping and or breaking. And another thing, so we're going to take them and throw them in oil. Another thing, always do a couple extra just in case they don't come quite the way you like, right? Now, when I stagger, let me take you out of here. Look at me for a second. Now, when I take them, I like to overlap them a little bit, right? And why I do that is so they don't stick. And then I'm going to put them in my oil. They're not going to be sitting in this oil long, right? I just want them to get a little wet, a little bit more pliable. This, like I told you earlier, this is going to help it. This is going to help it get more pliable. It's going to help it not dry out when we go to use them. And it's going to, let me get that piece of tater out of there. It's going to help them, like I said, not dry out, and like I said, just more pliable. Every Wednesday is a weird feeling Wednesday, especially with this bullshit going on. I'm so ready to go back to work and be in a kitchen and serve people. It's not like I don't like serving, you know, food and, you know, making food and showing you guys. I love doing that, you know. If I had my choice, I'd do just that, you know. So hopefully by the end of summer you guys will be hearing some good news, I'm hoping. If not, it'll just be a little bit later than it usually is. Right. Now you don't want to leave these in the oil too long, because like I said, you want to leave them pliable, you want to leave them soft. So pretty pliable, pretty soft, right? So let's go ahead and get our cookie sheet. Don't like that one. I like that one, and I like these three, right? We'll still probably use this one. It got a little bit too crispy for me, but it'll be just fine. So like I said, I'm gonna show you how to roll these, and then that'll pretty much be it. And then I'll take a picture and I'll show you guys a little later, in a little bit. So we're gonna take our lime and put that down as for presentation, right? So what I like doing, right? Get this stuff out of the way. And I'm gonna minimize these comments so I can see what you guys see, right? Got this brand new cutting board. It's super huge, so I should quit trying to play to having that small cutting board, right? So we're gonna take these good amount of cheese, because like I said, this is gonna melt down quite a bit. I'm gonna roll these fairly tight, right? Now, if you were doing these dry, they'd probably start tearing and ripping and, you know, all that stuff. So, and these are a little small. These are fresh tortillas. My little aluminum press doesn't get, you know, too thin. So these are about 1 ounce portion tortillas, right? But that just gets to mean, or that means that you get to eat more of them, right? See how you work? See how it works? You make them small so you can eat a whole bunch by making them big and only eating a couple. You know, it's the same thing. It's the same math. It's going to equal out to the same. But I like to think that me watching my girlish figure, I can eat as much as I like, and it would still, you know, be within reason. So go ahead and taste the sauce one more time just to make sure. Damn, that's good. All right. So, take that whisk out. I'm going to show you guys how I finish and start. Like I said, most people will take it and completely cover in the pan and throw nothing but cheese on it. You could do that, that's fine. I threw just a shit ton of cheese in here already, and I think it's perfectly fine. And like I said, I want a presentation that I can really be proud of, right? So we've got that nice enchilada sauce, right? Now there's gonna be more enchilada sauce that I'm gonna add. I'm gonna add it to the plate when it's all said and done. Let's go ahead and fuck, why not, right? Let's just add a little bit of cheese, right? And these are gonna go into our preheated oven. Yeah, see that one got fried. See, when you fry it too hard, you can already see once you start getting that air pocket and it starts getting crispy, you can already go ahead and toss those, right? No bueno. Look at that in Spanish. Now, let's live a little. And we've also got our little salsa verde, more of a Mexican style salsa verde. Some cilantro and some parsley in there with some crushed red pepper, some garlic, a little bit of shallot, a little white vinegar, and some canola oil. Right? Well, guys, we made it. That's pretty much been it. I'll take a picture in a little while and show you guys. I still gotta, you know, actually, no, I'll actually stay on here. So if you guys were jumping the gun to get off here, psych, stay tuned, because I'm gonna show you guys how we top this, right? It's only gonna take maybe a minute or two. Let's actually set a timer, just so we know that, hey man, you got tortillas in here, right? So we're gonna do this thing that I like doing. I like charring these limes. I like charring them just for presentation. Plus it gives you a little bit of that burnt, that citrus, that acid. You know, it helps bring everything. Usually when you get tacos, you get a whole bunch of tacos and they give you, you know, cilantro, lime, and onion. That's all you really need for an accompaniment for a taco. So we're taking the same concept of having, you know, that lime in there. Not only for presentation purposes, but to give it a little bit of acid, give it a little zip at the end. All right? Let me show you guys how we're gonna do our chicken. Right? So you can pull chicken off and throw it right on top if you'd like. But if we've got the means, let's make it as good as we can make it, right? Let me check on these. They're almost there. Let's go another 2 minutes. You got the means to make this chicken as good as possible. Make it as good as possible. Right? Get a little of that water off there, right? Caught it. Use my sex muscles. It was really my knee to catch it, but I'll go ahead and put that one in the dirty clothes basket. Right. So we're going to take our chicken in our pan. Got that chicken thigh that we used. And we're going to get maybe our oil. It's right behind you. I'm going to get our oil and throw it in the pan. Right. Keep checking this line. So I'm going to take that, let it heat up. We're going to take more of this braising liquid that we had, and we'll use this strainer again. Let's go ahead and get our cup. We're not going to need much liquid because all we're doing is saucing it out. Doing how I've showed you guys before with the butter and the stock. Right. Like I said, it's another way to add out another outstanding bit of flavor. Right. So push this back. Look at that, right? So we're going to leave that just a little bit longer, right? Just for presentation purposes. We got that pan rocking. We're about to throw that in there. Let me go ahead and get my nice pretty bowl over here so I can plate. And we'll get to working. Right. Oh, there we go. So we're going to take all that chicken. Right. Timer, those are finished. Look at that. I've been there until this chicken is done. Got another timer on there. Now you can do this with pork. I prefer it with pork. But I just didn't feel like going to get pork. Pork's an exorbitant price right now. So we're going to do it with chicken. I'm going to do a quarter cup. I'll let most of that cook out. Right. Like I said, it's that same liquid this chicken was actually braised in. Right. Go ahead and add a little bit more. And that's what we're looking for. Look at that. Look how pretty that is, right? It looks like a little stained glass window. Right. Add a little bit of our pepper. A little bit of our salt. One of my favorite ingredients to use is our smoked paprika. Gives a really nice depth of flavor. Let's take it one step further, right? Let's add a little bit of that. Let's add a little bit of that enchilada sauce, right? Wait for that liquid to cook out and reduce a little bit more. Go ahead and pull our enchiladas out. Let's set them right up here. Now, usually you can tell an enchilada is done when they start flattening out because all that cheese is melted and rendered down. That means you're good to go. Pull them out. They're hot all the way through. All right. Clear this pan. We are almost there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead, add a little bit more of that liquid reduced, and then we'll add our butter. So I want it to be tight. I want that sauce to coat. Right? It's almost there. little bit more. Now, once we add this butter, we cut the heat completely. Get all that butter though. Butter's expensive these days. This one's not. This butter's pretty cheap. You know, it's a market brand. I usually like using that Kerrygold, but ran out of that. So, best butter on the market you can buy commercially, in my opinion. Nice fat content. Very creamy, very good. Good butter. Right. So, our chicken's done. So let's go ahead and plate these bad boys. I can feed my kid, and we can go from there. Right. So we've got our very sexy looking bowl. We've got our enchiladas. We've got our chicken. We've got our lime. Let's see if we got any cotija. I probably should have looked ahead of time, see if we had any. We did not too long ago, and we do. Right. Let's go with our shaved red onion. Maybe a little bit more. Right? How about a little bit? And that was enchiladas. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, and follow. Go check out the blog. I post recipes. I'm trying to post them once a week. It's been hectic the last couple weeks, so you know, bear with me. And I'll see you guys on Friday. Friday I'm gonna do fried chicken. Do fried chicken wings. You know, and I'm gonna do something with the gochujang again. I'm really on a somewhat of a Korean kick as of late, so I want to play around with those flavors a little bit more. So don't know what I'm going to do what else with it. So, you know, just play it by ear. But just know this Friday we got fried chicken coming up. Thank you again for spending some time with me today. Thank you for watching. Chris, I hope you try this video out. I hope you try this recipes that I showed with you. If you guys want the recipes sooner than Sunday, just message me and I'll show you what I did. I told you guys what I did earlier, so, but if you guys want to, you know, not work for it and, you know, ask me, no problem, right? So don't forget, like I said, like, share, subscribe, and follow. Check out the blog. Don't forget to subscribe to that. And I'll see you guys on Friday. Thank you again for spending some time with me. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on Friday.